All right, does everybody see everything okay? Make money using trade lines?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
All right, so I am Lorie Woodruff. I am going to be taking you through about 1 hour today of information, great information that is going to go over credit, trade lines, and money, and how people can make more money using their trade lines. So everybody in here is a buyer at some point of something, and everybody is somewhat of a seller at some point, whether we're not talking just about real estate all the time, but in anything, when you go to the store, you are a buyer. If you own a store and you're actually selling some goods and services or products, you are a seller at that point. So today I'm really going to be talking about buyers and sellers when it comes to credit. All right. This topic comes up a lot. And as I've been working in real estate for 22 years, and half of that time period has been working in the credit education space. And when you're in the credit education space, you learn a lot about things that you didn't know that could have tripped you up better in the past. You know what I mean? You know, there's some things in college. I didn't finish college. I know where the building is, and I drive past it often. I hate Bowie State, but it wasn't for me. But I knew at that time, when I was buying cars and getting credit cards, I didn't understand how credit really worked. I didn't understand how credit worked. I just knew I got a credit card, it had a limit. And if it had MasterCard or Visa on the door, I was like, yes, we got groceries today. We got groceries today. And I don't know if anybody else, if I'm just the only one in the room that talks like that, but that's how I used a credit card. And I used it really just to survive on. I didn't understand that if I was 30 days late, that it was going to hurt me in the future for future things that I wanted. And so this brings us to where we are now. We're all young adults, all of us, right? For all young adults. And what that means is we know better now. We know better. And after this session, you definitely were going to know better as far as how you can be a buyer and how you can be a seller. Now, I don't want anybody to raise their hand and just say, yeah, I have a 500 credit score. Let's just be honest. At some point, there was a dip in a credit score that caused you not to be able to qualify for things. I'm going to raise my hand because I've said it before. I've had a 480 credit score, and I looked up and I'm like, how the hell did I get here? How in the world did I get to this point where I got a 480 credit score? When you just don't know, you just don't know, and you let things kind of slide past. But I want to tell you now, your credit is the most superior thing in the United States that you can uphold. It's going to get you closer to everything as far as housing, everything, even rentals. And for my real estate ladies and gentlemen out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When it comes down to the rentals, you still need to have a great credit score. And when I say great, we're going to go into some charts to show you what great really looks like. There are also housing needs, purchasing a home, getting credit cards. All of these things are dependent upon a 3-digit score. So I really want to show people here in the room, for those especially that are in real estate, I want to make sure that you're also taking this conversation back to your community and letting people know if you have a little amount of credit, there is hope, and you're able to use trade lines to help build your credit score up. All right. My story right now, I'm still in real estate. I'm still helping with credit education. I still was looking at someone's credit this morning. So I still do those real quick sessions. So if anybody does need that 15-minute free consultation, I think you better use it, because that 15 minutes is a lot in that 15 minutes where I can really identify what's going on and some solutions that fast. So if you definitely want to take advantage of that, make sure that you connect with me for that free 15-minute consultation. All right. So for that, now business consulting is something I'm also doing. And for the last 10 years, that has been a space where I work with realtors and entrepreneurs to help market their brand. And that means any and everything around making sure that you look amazing online, that you are out there, you've got the confidence to exude, to show your brand, to sell yourself to the public. Because someone is waiting for you when you're worried about what your hair looks like, or someone's waiting for you when you're worried about, well, I don't have the right outfit on. I have slippers on right now. I have slippers on. All right. So these are the kind of things you just want to make sure that it's not about you, but you certainly want to make sure you take this information tonight bring it back to your community because someone is going to be waiting for this information and you are going to be the shining star that gave it to them. Deal? Remember, all stuff and no fluff. I don't have a lot of time for wasting time for fluffy stuff. So I do want to make sure I get right to the point with what we are talking about today. So let's get started making money using trade lines. That is Lorie right there. I am an entrepreneur, full-time real estate professional, an author of 2 books and a few ebooks that many of you have already known about. Simple Credit Repair is one of the ebooks, and Start Your Business and How to Get It Funded is the other one. So a lot of times when people are asking how to get their business started and what needs to be done so I can get those credit cards, then this is going to be that ebook that you want to download. And over the last couple of years, I have taught thousands of students on wealth building and how to market their brand. So I know a little bit. I'm just not making this stuff up. Okay, not making it up. All right, let's get going. Today's topic is going to cover what makes up your credit score. First, we're going to talk about what is a trade line. Then we're going to go into why someone would buy a trade line. Did you know that you can buy a trade line? We're going to talk about the benefits of a trade line, selling your trade line as a side gig, basically side money. And then we're going to talk about the benefits of selling your trade line. Remember, there's buyers and sellers in this group right here. So I want you to imagine, especially for my entrepreneurs and real estate clients that are out here, I want you to imagine for a second. I want to take you down a story. You have a client that walks into your office and she is looking to purchase a property. And as you, as the real estate entrepreneur that you are, of course, you're talking about how the real estate market is and how it's important for her to get pre-approved, right? Because you all are not showing anybody houses without what? Pre-approval. We know that.
Pre-approval.
You're not doing that. You know, we're not doing any volunteer work around here, okay? And when that's the case, she says, I have a 550 credit score. What is the first thing that's going to come to mind when you hear that? 550 credit score. What's going to be the first thing that you're thinking about?
Credit concerns. Credit issues.
Credit issues?
Yes.
Got it, right? So remember, life happens to all of us. I can have an 850 credit score today. Life happens, and then I can have a 550 credit score in a matter of 30 days or 60 days, right? So we can't judge someone on that number, but the banks, the property management companies, the credit card companies, they definitely judge. We, as entrepreneurs in the community, want to come from a place of help. And one of the things that I always did back then when we're trying to figure out, well, how can I separate myself and be a different real estate agent? Because everyone out there is helping first-time home buyers. I'm helping. But who's helping that one with less than perfect credit? It wasn't many. And so 10 years ago, I found that niche to help less than perfect credit clients build wealth through buying real estate. So you have to think, if that's not your market, that's not your market. Some of you are online are luxury. And you're like, nope, you got to have 850 or cash coming to my table. But I want to make sure that for those that are not just in a box of luxury, if you're stepping out and you're thinking, wow, that person just needs help. That person with the 550 credit score just needs a little bit of help and guidance, and let's put them in the right direction. So I take a lot of those phone calls from you when it comes to Lorie. She's got a 550 credit score. The lender can't do anything with her right now, but you can help her. And so there's a lot of times that I'm speaking with first-time home buyers that just don't know about credit. They're clueless, just like I was with that 480 credit score, right? You just didn't know what you just didn't know. And by the time we finish that conversation, their confidence level is here and they don't feel bad about themselves. So I share that quick story with you just to say, remember, all of us could be in that 550 or lower category. And we can also zip up to an 850. That's the goal. But the roles can also be reversed. And that 850 person, credit score person, could also go through some life stuff and then tumble down to a 550. So let's talk about what are some ways that we can help that 550 person, individual, mother, sister, aunt, all right, she has more of a title, then to get into that property that she wants. Okay, so here we're going to, so just today, let's talk about, and I don't want to put anybody's name out there, Michelle, that's my alter ego. Let's talk about Michelle as if she is a 480 credit score. And she needs to build her credit up. So this is the reason why today's topic is so important, because building trade lines is going to help Michelle. And it's going to benefit a lot of you. Okay. Oh, thank you, Erin. Yes, credit repair is something great. And I talked to oh my gosh, I talked to a gentleman this morning, and because I sent out the notifications first thing this morning, he was a guy that I helped with credit back in a long time ago. Oh my gosh, he was like one of the first people that I had helped. And he's ready to buy a home, but there's a couple of things on his credit. So again, he purchased a home, had great credit, life happened, and now he's back here. So he did get the credit repair ebook, because I said, everything that you need, after I looked at his credit report this morning, everything that you need can be attacked in the next 30 to 60 days if you are serious about it. All right, you can't just want it for everyone else. You guys know that, right? A lot of you care about a lot of your clients, but you can't care more than they do. And he took it, and I said, in the next 30 to 60 days, if you follow the path that I shared with you, everything that's in that ebook, you've got every template necessary to wipe away a lot of this garbage that's on your credit report. He's like, all right. I said, if that's the plan, then that's the plan. So again, we have a lot of Michelles and Michaels that are out there needing our help. Those are the buyers of the trade lines. Now let's talk about, let me put somebody on the spot here. Let me call on, I'll call Tabitha. I'll call Tabitha's name. Tabitha has credit cards, and she's got a few credit cards that she's not even using. And she's able to put $25,000. She's got a $10,000 limit on one, and she's got a $20,000 limit on the other one. So she's got two cards that she's not even using. So because she has established this credit card 10 years ago, we'll just throw it in there, 10 years ago, Tabitha has a trade line with a bank, has a credit card, that has a great history. She, in this example for this evening, is going to be a seller of a trade line. Okay. Yes, baby, I got you covered. You're going to have all the links. I'll give you the link right now to my bio. And then what happens from there is you will be able to find everything that we're talking about tonight. So you guys grab this. Make sure I spelled it right. And if you are on Instagram, the link is in my bio for everything that we're going to talk about as far as the credit repair ebook and the Start Your Business and Get Funded ebook. So for many of you realtors, guide them in that direction, have them call me. I'm definitely not taking your client. That's not something you have to worry about. But if you're a real estate agent and you have that Michelle that's in your office that needs credit help, have them call me, schedule an appointment. I'll point them in the right direction of the ebook so they can get help if that's what they need. Sometimes they might need more money. Sometimes they might need just some discipline. I don't know on budgeting. And then I'll give them homework to do. And then you got it. You got it. Don't lose track of them though. So there is the credit ebook for everyone. So yeah, you guys can use that for your customers. Okay. So remember, tonight we're talking all stuff, no fluff. So let's get started on how you can be a buyer of a trade line, or you can be a seller of a trade line. So trade lines are now available to everyone, not just the privileged. I want you to think about, there's a lot of people when they are young, their parents have superior credit. Okay. And if you were one of the great ones that had great credit, sometimes what parents are doing is adding your name onto their credit card as an authorized user. Now you're a teenager, you don't have access, you don't have privy to the card, but you're riding along the benefits of that MasterCard, of that Visa, of that Discover card. All right. Have many of you heard of that as far as adding someone onto your credit card to be an authorized user?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand some family members can't do that. Some can. Hey, Lisa. Some can't. So now we've got something that's open for everyone that is able to use exactly what we're talking about, a legal way. So if Michelle, in this example, if Michelle had a mother and father that had great credit, and they knew this discussion to say, you know what, my baby girl is 16 years old. I'm going to call the credit card company and have her added to my card. Baby girl, Michelle, you don't have access to my card, but all I need is your social security number, and I'm going to add you to my credit card. By the time Michelle is 18 years old and gets out there in the world, she's already got a 700 credit score, if not better, because her parents added her as an authorized user. Got it? So that all she's doing is writing the history. Michelle's just taking advantage of the history of the parent. Now, on the other side, let's say Michelle has some parents that didn't pay their bills. That's not going to be a good thing when she turns 18, because any reflections of that activity that was on that card, if there was a late payment, if they went over the limit, those kind of things would negatively affect Michelle. All right, are we clear on that? Question. It depends on the credit card company. Ozzy had asked, are there authorized users over 18? Are the authorized users, or does the added person have to be under 18? The age part, they just go by their social security number. So it depends on the credit card company, but I would do it. You can do it before they're 18. You can do it before the person is 18 years old. And there's a limit. So we'll talk about also, you don't want to add too many of family members onto one card also. Okay. Yep, we're going to talk about that. Ozzy's coming out the gate with some good ass questions. That's good. All right, cool. All right, so section 1, what makes up your credit score? All right, let's talk about how the credit score is affected. For my entrepreneurs that are in the room, you all know when you're looking to get anyone into credit cards, you've got 300 all the way up to 850. You've got a range of 300. You don't have to do anything to get a 300. You just breathe. And you can go all the way up to an 850. Okay. And Instagram, just wanted to see if you guys wanted to be live onto the Zoom webinar. Check the link in my bio and you can get registered. Just come on over. You can see the visuals. All right. So here's the range. 580 to 669 is a fair score. The national average, it ranges depending on who's reporting it, can range anywhere between 670 to 690. That's the national average. So when we think about mortgages, that's the reason why we ask different mortgage companies, well, what's your minimum? What's your minimum credit score for this particular program? And for a lot of them, what are they saying? What, 620, 640, 660, if they want to do a down payment assistance program. So it varies. The goal is to be in that good to very good to excellent category. If anybody is teetering in that 580 to 669 category, it's not going to get much around town. It's going to frustrate you to get things around town. And this is the reason why credit repair is necessary, why we have to have that option for a person like Michelle. I hope there's not a person Michelle on here because I'm not calling you out. That's just the name for the example. All right. So if Michelle walked in and she had a 580 credit score, where is she going to rent a place? Where is she going to be able to buy a home without all the zigzag of, oh, you got to put more money down? So let's talk about ways to get that score up. And so what we're talking about today are ways to increase the credit score. Yes, Ozzy, definitely ways to increase the credit score. So you find yourself on here, right? My webinar, folks, you all find your number on here, and you should be looking at your credit report at least once a month if you have credit monitoring. At least. And please stay away from Credit Karma. Please stay away from the Credit Wises. The free apps will suck you into a place of disillusion. So please don't rely on that. And I know you all, when you share it with your clients and customers, you don't let them use that. Don't let your customers just rely on that, because it doesn't work. I remember when I was looking for a home years ago, and I'm looking at my credit score. I had Capital One at the time, and Capital One has this free app called Credit Wise. And I'm looking at Credit Wise, and my credit score was like 550. I'm like feeling like the scum of the earth. I'm like, dang, how come it just won't move up? I don't know if anybody has experienced this, but Credit Wise was 550. Your credit score went up a little bit. Now it's 570. I'm like, great. I'm still in a poor score area. So great. And then I had the mortgage lender actually pull it. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a 700. It was a 700 the whole time. And so that's why I say it's a lot of different algorithms that will deceive someone to look at Credit Karma, because it's not pulling all three scores neither. So I have a link with my Identity IQ in the Linktree link that I supplied in my bio. Pull it. It's only $1. If you choose to get the credit monitoring, please do that, because from time to time you will need to get those alerts when someone's trying to get your credit. MyFICO.com is pretty good. MyFICO, and then My Identity IQ. My Identity IQ is another one. So I have that one. I have My Identity IQ, and I have the $29.99 per month for the monitoring. That way, if I've got some updates to my credit report, I can see it in real time with all three credit scores. So you got myfico.com, myfico.com, or you can go to My Identity IQ, which the button is in my Linktree account. Linktree, you can get it for $1. So that is the process. Whenever I'm talking to a client, I have them get the credit report first, because we can't go back and forth. Well, see, what happened was Navy Federal did this, and then I had this one collection. I need to see it. I need to see it. So you can always advise your clients to get a reputable credit report, then make an appointment with me, or at that time, we'll already be looking at it together. All right, so let's talk about what makes the score up. And this is what I didn't know back in college, my one semester at college. Yes, I did a whole semester. I knew where the cafe was. I knew where the bookstore was. I just didn't want to go to class no more. I didn't want to go to class. I just knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. I was like, this is not working for me. It's not working for me. All right, so here's what makes up our credit score. The majority of it, 35% of what makes up our score, the weight is on the history. The history, meaning how many late payments did you have in the past? How many 30-day lates did you have? How many 120-day lates? Any of those, that's the majority of your credit report score. The amount owed, 30% of your score is about how much you owe. The balance of the weight is like a seesaw, all right? The more weight you put on your credit score, your report, the more your score is going to go down, all right? So if you have a $5,000 limit, get excited. I'm like, all right, it's right next to Christmas time. I got everything. I got everything. I'm gonna go to Target and I'm gonna just get everything on the card. And if you spend $5,000, you do know your score is going to drop very fast. Why? Because now there's no available credit. Your balance is the limit. There's nothing on there to use anymore. So it's always advisable to have to keep your balance at least 20% of the limit or lower. 20% of the limit or lower will automatically raise your credit score. So a lot of times, again, when I'm speaking with your clients, it is nothing else other than just pay down your balances. And for that, that's more of an income conversation, and we have to talk about ways that we can help them make some more money. All right, so the majority are right here. Now, the length of credit history, this is super important as we're going into tonight's topic about trade lines. The length of your credit history is 15% of your credit score. So that means if you just opened up, if Michelle just opened up an account in the last year, she doesn't have a lot of history. All right, for my realtors out there, you ever talk to the loan officer and says, she's got a skinny file or she's got a thin file? That means that they don't have a lot of history. They want to see, it's like a resume. Where have you been? Where have you worked? I want to see some traction of what you've done with credit. So the longer the history, the better terms that your credit score is going to look like. 10% of your score revolves around what type of credit that you're using. I hope you guys are getting everything. We're talking about ways to make money using your trade lines tonight. So all of this plays into what we're going to talk about. Types of credit use, meaning you can have revolving credit cards. There's no standard payment. There's no set payment with credit cards. Or you have installment loans. So if you've got an auto loan, all right, or you got a mortgage loan, that payment is fixed every single month. So that's an installment. So a good mix of that will help with your credit score. And 10% is just getting new credit. New credit, just, okay, I got brand new credit on my credit report. That's it. So let's focus on the top three. And that's what's going to help someone either be a buyer tonight or a seller of their credit history. So here's some important factors to remember. Credit utilization, how much credit you're using at any given time. The ideal goal, as I mentioned, is to carry a balance of 20% or lower of your credit limit. So that means automatically someone can raise their credit score simply by taking their balance from $5,000 down to $1,000. What is 20% of $5,000? What's 20% of 5,000?
400.
1,000. 100?
No, 400.
1,000.
Oh,
1,000.
1,000. Okay. $1,000, right? So that means that balance on that person's credit card should be at least 1,000 or lower for their credit score to look good. And the more that you keep adding it on, the lower the credit score is going to go. All right. You also want to pay attention to, there's two different dates that probably no one's ever shared with you. There's two dates with credit cards. There's your due date, and then there's the reporting date to the bureaus. Those are two different dates. So when you look at your credit report sometimes and you paid that balance, let's say 2 weeks ago, you're like, how come my credit report hasn't updated yet? Well, they have not reported it to the credit bureaus yet. So you have to find out when you're really paying attention to your bills and really trying to improve your credit, you want to start looking at, hey, discover, when do you report to the 3 credit bureaus? Got it, because that could be a week before your due date. That could be a week after. So that's just a clue for you, a gem for you to write down. Find out when do you actually report to the credit bureaus? Okay, payment history. It's important. We already know that the history is necessary because anything that's late is going to be a ding on the score. It's going to bring it down. And the length of credit history. So those are the top things that we're going to share about tonight. How many of you have added someone onto your credit card? How many have you actually done that already? Nobody? Who has added someone as an authorized user to your credit card? Take this website down because we're going to be talking about it. Take it down exactly the way you see it, bit.ly/tradeline supply. Take the phone number down because you guys are going to be buyers and sellers tonight. All right. Drop a 1 in the comments when you've got it written down, bit.ly/ and make sure you capitalize the T, capitalize the S, Tradeline Supply. Got it. Y'all may want to be a lot of sellers in the room. Got it? Good. You may want to be some sellers in the room when you finish this chat because you're like, dang, there's money to be made everywhere. All right, good. So we're going to talk about a strategy that's going to blend buyers and sellers together because there is a market for both. There is a market for both. Remember, in the category, like I shared with you, Michelle, she has a challenged 550 credit score. She needs to raise her score up. Tabitha, on the other hand, has got multiple credit cards she's not even using, and she's got the ability to be a seller of her credit card. So she can add anyone like Michelle to her credit card as an authorized user. All right, so let's define what is a trade line. Many of you have seen credit reports. It's nothing new. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, Ari. Trade line is an account on a credit report, such as a credit card, a car loan, or a mortgage, containing vital information that factors in your credit score. So here's a sample. We've all seen a copy of a credit report before, right? Nothing new. Your name, it depends if a lender pulled it or if you did it on your own with annualcreditreport.com. All of the items are out on its own. So down here, you can't really read it, but you've got the Chase account, individual. It's going to tell you the balance. It's going to tell you the history. It's going to also share with you the monthly payments. So all of that is considered a trade line. If you don't have a lot of trade lines, like a couple of years ago, I didn't have a lot of trade lines. So I had to use this service, as I'm sharing with you guys tonight. I had to use this service in order to add a trade line to my skinny credit history. The benefits of that, of having great credit, of course, the benefits of having great credit, it's cheaper to borrow money. If you have a 700 or better credit score, you are not going to have that back and forth over credit cards. You're not going to have that back and forth over the interest rates, neither. You're going to have more favorable terms because you're looked at as a lower risk. You've got more negotiating power. If you go to the car dealership or the car loan company and they say, well, we can do 4.2, you're like, that's cool. I'll be back. And they're like, whoa, wait. We can do, Ms. Woodruff, 3.7. That's what you should have told me from the beginning. All right. So you got more negotiating power when you have a powerful score. All right. It gives you leverage. It gives you leverage. All right. Stick your chest out. You can do more with your credit score. Definitely more perks, discounts, and rewards when you have the credit. So I've been preaching about it for a long time. If you haven't already, I do have the Simple Credit Repair ebook for anybody on here that wants to treat themselves. All right. It's only $49. So at the end of this, if you want to go in there and get it for yourself because you want these things, then make sure that you go over to my bio and pick that up for yourself. It's $49 for a lifetime. And as we finish, I'll talk a little bit more about that if you have questions about it. But it gives you all the step-by-step tips on what you need to do, and includes the dispute letters. Yeah, it includes the dispute letters, so you'll know exactly the written part is already done. It's already done. All you got to do is fill in your negative accounts and print 3 copies, one for Good Old Experian, the Brother TransUnion, and Big Equifax. You do that, and then you just mail them off. So we'll talk a little bit more about if that's something that you would like to treat yourself so that you can start getting those perks. All right. So big question is, why would someone buy a trade line? So just like I gave the example, in that example, Michelle doesn't have much credit and she needs to boost her credit score up. A trade line helps you improve your credit score, so it will reap all the benefits a good score enables you to have. All right. So if she's got a 550, what else is going to help her except remove some negative items off, or if she has another positive account added to her credit. So without a good credit score, you will have limited access and services of your credit cards, loans, and higher rates of mortgages. And we do know this to be true. Okay. So let's talk about the benefits. You save money. You're developing a payment history. And you get to offset some derogatory accounts if you have a 550 credit score. Okay. Yep, I'm gonna share that with you. And you get to boost your credit score. So let me give you a quick story. A year ago, I found Tradeline Supply, and I wanted to make sure that they were legit, because there's a lot of companies out here that would say they can add to your credit. You know what I mean? But I wanted to make sure that it was reputable, especially if my name is on it and I've got referrals for other customers. So I was applying last year I was really getting my business credit set up last year heavily. And I was getting all my affairs in order. And I said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Tradeline Supply, be a buyer. I'm going to be a buyer, and I'm going to go online and I'm going to buy a Tradeline. So that means, and I'm going to show you the website so you can take a look at it. When you have someone that is selling their credit, their trade lines, that means it's a business arrangement. I don't know who they are. They don't know who I am. I don't have access to their cards, and they don't have access to anything personal of mine. It's a business arrangement. So if Tabitha, in that example, had a credit card and I saw online, well, it's got age on it. It's been open for 10 years. It's got a $10,000 limit. And it's available for $200 or $300. Let's put $300 on it. I can buy that trade line right off of the website. And that trade line would be added to my credit report within a certain time period. And it lets you know when it will be added to the credit report. So if it's going to go on my credit report, let's say in the next 2 weeks, this is why having credit monitoring is very important, so that you'll know exactly when it does go on there. So if I bought that trade line today, again, I'm buying this trade line and it's giving all of that positive history from Tabitha that's now going to be on my credit report. So I've got the history of 10 years now added to my credit report. I've got the good payment history now that's added to my credit report. And now that's going to also boost my credit score. With those three things, I did that last year, and one selfish reason I did it was I wanted to get one that had a high limit because I didn't have a whole lot of credit cards. So what I did last year was I bought the trade line for it was a $7,500 limit. I didn't buy it for $7,500. I didn't buy it. I bought it for like like $200. And now, because that trade line of $7,500 limit was added to my credit report, when I go to apply for credit cards, guess what my new limit of my card that got approved for was? $7,500. Wow, right? So I did that for a selfish reason. And I was like, look, if the bank sees there's a $7,500 credit card already on my account and I'm applying for a credit card, well, they see she's been here already. She's already had high limits before. So we'll start her limit at $7,500. By me doing that transaction, it added about 40 points to my credit history. 40 points. It stayed on my credit report for 2 months. So it allowed me the time to get the business funding that I needed during that time period. You guys see that? So Tradeline Supply is the middleman. It's the broker, all right? It's the broker between the buyer and the seller. They're just bringing two parties together that want to get something done. I wanted to get a better credit score. I wanted to add the age, the history on my credit report. And the seller just sits back and they collect money. It's a passive income for that seller. And they're not doing anything. They're not changing any locks. They're not going to properties. It's nothing, but they are just allowing me to be added as an authorized user on their credit card. And they're probably getting about a third of whatever the fee is. So they could be getting anywhere from $50 to $350 as their compensation for doing that every time for someone. You see, there's money on the seller side. You see, there's benefits on the buyer side. So after the 2 months, that account did me exactly what I needed. And then it closed. That account only stayed on there active for 2 months, and then it closed out. And that's okay. I got everything I needed within that 2 months time period. My credit score rose and I got everything. Exactly. The broker compensated from the buyer. But no, the broker was compensated, yes, during that transaction. And I'll show you some of the sample transactions. But just like a real estate company, you've got a broker right in the middle, right? And they're putting buyers together with sellers. That's all we're doing with credit now. Everybody makes money. So when your client needs to improve their credit score, maybe they need to come here and they need to get themselves a trade line. I would want to talk with them first to see if that's necessary. I just want you to know that this is an option. If you need it, you might need to get some, because your history may not be enough. And you may be getting that. Let's just say you got a loan denial and they say not enough credit history. Well, this is a solution for that. Okay. So for selling your trade line, that is definitely a side gig. So just imagine if you had five credit cards, and let's just say you received $300 from each of those. That's $1,500 that could have been in your pocket just for selling your card as a trade line to someone. Again, no party knows each other. I don't know the seller. The seller doesn't know me. I don't have access to his address or his credit card. It's just a financial transaction that's added onto my credit report. Okay, so here are the benefits. So for some of you, you might be sellers out here and you don't even know it. Some of your grandparents might need some extra money. Think about it. How would an extra $300 or $600 or $900 every single month work passively for someone who's retired? Because they have that credit card and they're bragging about it. Oh, I have an 850 credit score, baby. I'm not co-signing for nothing. I'm like, well, grandma, I actually have something that may work out for you. Both of my grandmothers have over 750 credit score. And I'm like, you're not even using it. So when they were alive, this could have been a wonderful way to not worry about groceries, not worry about I'm on a fixed income. It could be a wonderful way that the family introduces as another source of income because, yes, Ozzy, because you have great credit. And I would say if you've had a credit card open for at least 2 years, you should call Tradeline Supply. You should definitely call them. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to enroll and make sure that you can qualify. They want to make sure that you keep that balance at least 15% or lower. That is the whole key, because for a buyer, they've got to make sure that they've got the security of the utilization of you using that card at least 15% or lower. That's the whole premise of this whole idea. So you've got to make sure. And the one I have right now, because I just did it again, the one I have right now has a 0 balance. The dude's not even using the card, or lady, she's not even using the card. So maintain a credit utilization of 15% or lower, meaning your balance is at least 15% or lower of your credit limit. There you go, Ozzy. See, you're welcome. You're welcome. New money. Now, you can put up to 2 applicants on each card. What you don't want to do is to get too cocky about it and get yourself kicked out of the program, because banks aren't happy about you having 5 authorized users on one card. So I think the company, what they're going to do is probably advise you not to have any more than 2 applicants on each of your cards. Okay. This is a great way for you to collect. Hey, Whitney, it's a great way for you to collect passive income. Again, we're thinking of people who are working at home, side gigs. If you see anywhere up to a few hundred to a few $1,000s a month that can be done, you can sell your credit trade line to someone who needs it, because there's definitely buyers out there. There's definitely buyers that need to improve their credit score. The only downside is you got to make sure that you're not, again, just I would say the only downside is don't have a whole bunch of authorized users on one card. Because if your card gets shut down, what if you have Chase or Bank of America and they shut you down? That's a source of money that you just lost. And that age of that card is now gone. It's depleted. All right. So, yeah, so here's when I spoke to the gentleman at Tradeline Supply, I really wanted to get a real idea of how much money would a seller get for trading for their trade lines. And he said some can see anywhere between 50 to 350 each trade line. So just imagine if this is a sure thing. This is a sure thing. If you've got someone like myself who is a buyer and I need to add Bank of America to my credit history, and it's only for 2 months, I'm not coming off of that. I need that 2 months, if not more. You can always extend it, but that seller is pretty much guaranteed money with that applicant to hang in there for at least 2 months. For my business loan folks out here, I wanted to give this out here again. Go to my Linktree link. Some of you have already started applying. Last week, we were talking about business capital. When you are applying for business loans, you want to make sure that your credit history is, your personal credit history is looking in a favorable position. And when I say favorable, I mean anything 680 or above. 680 or above. So I give you the funding link in my bio so that if you want to apply for business credit, you should start looking. If you've got at least a 550 credit score, you've been in business for at least 6 months with your LLC, and your revenue is at least $10,000 average every month. I had one applicant, she is probably trending around $5,000 to $8,000 a month. And I said, go ahead and still apply and see what they say, see what your options are. And she did get approved. She did get approved. So for my business owners out here who need to get funding, again, what we're talking about tonight works for you. This works for you too, because if you're looking to get business capital, the lender is going to be looking at your personal credit. So if you need to add a trade line to get yourself up to standards, you may need to increase your credit score so that you can get the funding through your business. Does that make sense? And that's the only reason I did it twice. Okay. So about the credit cards, I was talking to my neighbor and I talked to him about it maybe like 4 months ago. And I said, you have a credit card that's been open for about 15 years. He's like, yeah, I got a card that's been open for 15 years and I don't need it. I don't use it. And I told him about this. Conversation just went away. And then all of a sudden he comes back and he says, I closed the account. I said, why did you close the account? He said, I wasn't using it. I remember what you said, but I just wanted to close the account. I was like, wow. You could have been making money off of that, dude. You could have been making money off of that card. 15 years, anything over 2 years, the premium gets higher. The premium gets higher, all right? So for those that are on Instagram, I welcome you guys to come over to the link in my bio. Register for that webinar because I'm about to go inside the website right now so they can take a look at the different trade lines. But before we get there, does anyone have any questions? You can come off of mute and ask before we start taking a look at the trade lines.
These credit cards that you're speaking of, does it have to be Master Visa or can it be department store credit cards or anything like that?
I saw Barclays. I saw Bank of America. I don't know if it's Visa or MasterCard.
Okay.
I saw Discover, Chase. Who else was on there? Capital One. I don't know if they're Visa or MasterCard, but I just saw the bank name.
Okay.
But yeah, if you've got these credit cards, don't close them. Build your credit. Let's just say your credit is not in the hottest position right now. If you build your credit score up and you've got the good history and there's no late payments on that card, they're looking at that card. If there's no problems and your history is good, keep that thing open. And anybody in your family also, again, tell grandma, tell mom, tell dad, if you've got a credit card that you're not using and you're worried about groceries, you're worried about gas, and I can't pay my light bill, I got something for you. I got something for you. And this is something you may want to share with them as far as being an authorized, letting someone be an authorized user on their card. Now, our parents are from old school. So they're like, I don't want anybody in my business. They're not in your business. When you work with Tradeline Supply, they take over just like a broker does, right? So they're the middleman between you and the buyer. So that buyer will never, ever see. You just make sure your history is clean. You make sure that history, you don't rack up a whole bunch of balance on that card, and you will start to see, you can start making pretty good money just by selling your own trade line. Okay. So make sure you write this down one more time before we start going into it. bit.ly/Tradeline Supply, capital T, capital S. And the phone number is here. They're in California. So just keep in mind, if you have any questions, they can answer a lot of those questions. My contact information is here. You've got my cell phone number, you've got my email address, and then my Linktree account has all of the links that we could ever imagine. All right, you guys ready to go into the trade lines? Or did anyone have any other questions? You see there's a business for everything, right?
Yes, question. So you got authorized user, is that separate from the trade lines or is one and the same?
Being a seller or buyer?
Well, no, because I was gonna add someone to the one of my credit cards just so they can get their credit, but it was a family member.
Got it.
But now that you're saying trade line, I'm like, oh wait, I wasn't charging that person. I was just gonna call the bank and add that family member on and keep moving.
I mean, you can and should do it if it's a family member. Ozzy, I'm not saying charge your cousin, all right? I'm just letting you know there is a business for selling your trade line to someone. I'm not telling you to charge your cousin. I'm not the one. I'm not.
So
am.
another question, if you call that number, you're just asking for, I guess, support or something, like they don't hook you up with the people, is you telling other people about it?
Wait, call what number?
That
This-
trade line
it-
supply.
This is, Tradeline Supply is the company that puts buyers and sellers together for trade.
Perfect. Okay.
So if you've got a card, like you said, you've got a card, how many years have you had it open?
Ooh, so I have about 13 cards and they all been over 2 years. And let me tell you, I just lost 2, so I would have had 15. Don't mind me why I got all
I
these.
won't mind you. You have 13 cards that are active?
Yes,
Okay, and do you put balances on all of them?
I do not.
Wow, well, it looks like you've got yourself a business here. So you may want to jump online tonight and go under where it says sell trade lines and start getting educated a little bit on what you need to do. And I will call them in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Because they're on California time right now. It's 5 o'clock, but I will call them tomorrow to let them know. But when you click on sell trade lines, it'll be a pop-up. And you can put your information in there, but I like to call people, so you can, I would just say, that's why I gave you the number. Call them and just let them know I'm interested in being a seller. Okay, so just put in your name and your email and phone number in here, boom, you can do it.
So will they also give you information on being the broker?
Well, that's what we're talking about, being the seller. Oh, Tradeline Supply is the broker though. Tradeline Supply is the broker. So you're either going to be a buyer where you need to buy a trade line, or you're going to be a seller where you are selling your trade line. But Tradeline Supply is the company that's facilitating all this. All right, so let's go and take a look. This is pretty exciting. So I'm going to go into, I got buy trade lines at the top or sell trade lines. Resources. All right, so just browse the information. It's legit. It's really legit. I bought 2 trade lines in this month. One of them has already shown up on my credit report, and I'm still waiting for the second one to show up. because I'm applying for business funding. So again, I want my credit report to look as juicy as possible with aged accounts before I start applying for these business loans. Does that make sense? Then after 2 months, once I got the funding done, this goes away anyway. It closes out. It automatically just closes out that account. All right, so I'm going to go under buy trade lines, and I want to show you what it looks like that you can go shopping. Now, it seems like a lot of people are catching on to this. And again, this is favorable for you. It's what a lot of people who didn't have access to this type of privilege, you have access to it now through a legit service rather than trusting. So let's just say, Ozzy, let's just say you had a hard time. God forbid, like you had a hard time, and you have your cousin that's added onto your Bank of America account. And you're like, shoot, I forgot, I charged up this card, but my cousin is added on here. See, when you're doing things like that, and you're not in position to have a company kind of making sure that you're doing the right thing, that could hurt your cousin. Because everything that you're doing is just like a pregnant mother, right? Everything that the pregnant mother is going through, the child is experiencing that. So if that cousin of yours is, I'm going to reap the benefits of Ozzy's good credit history, and then let's say you go charge at the limit. When they're about to go apply for credit, it's going to look bad on their credit report. So just be careful if you're doing these side things with your family or friends. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can charge for it as well if you want to do that, but just make sure you are doing the right thing by them by not abusing your credit or that account. I know you wouldn't do it on purpose, but sometimes we just forget. Oh, I forgot, he was on that card. All right, so trade line supply. Let's take a look. If you were to buy a trade line, what does it look like? There's a lot. Wait for this computer to rack up. Are you guys learning something new?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Sound like y'all are trying to be buyers and sellers.
No, I just want to be a seller. I'm good.
Okay. That is a good thing. That is a good thing. Well, I want to be both. I want to be both. All right, Paige, move up. Now this list has package deals. So if you buy 2 trade lines, you get 10% off your second trade line. Just depends how many you need. If you have a client that needs a trade line, let me have a conversation with them first, or make sure they talk to a lender first, because sometimes they may not need to do this. There may be some other things that need to be done, but I knew strategically what I needed to do. And I know sometimes by looking at other people's credit, if they don't have much credit, this is the only thing that is going to help them boost their score up. All right, so here's the menu, basically. That's what I call it. Here's a menu of items that are for sale. So let's say, Ozzy, here's the bank name. Here's the card ID number, whatever ID that trade line gave it. Here's the credit limit that person has. The date opened. It was the date opened that card was opened, the purchase deadline. So this person, if whoever's going to buy this trade line has up to September 16th to purchase this particular one. And it will show up on their credit report in this reporting period here. So anywhere between September 27th and October 4th, will this trade line then show up on their credit report? Yeah, Ozzy, yeah, I would have to take a look at them. Like, and somebody getting to an 850 is just kind of like overzealous. Like if you can get to a 720, you still got great benefits. So I would really want to see what they have, because someone had asked me earlier, well, I have a 720, should I do credit repair? I'm like, what's there to repair? Like everything is good on your credit report. So he wants to get his score higher. So I'd have to look at it exactly to see what's needed. So the availability, it tells you they got one in stock and here's the price. So if you as a buyer wanted to buy this Capital One trade line with a $2,500 limit, you would pay only $247.50. That's it. And remember, it's on their credit report for 2 months. Then it falls off just like a closed account. It just looks like a closed account. All right. Now I'm going to filter this and change the date opened. To something later. All right. 1997. Wow. This person has a card that's been open since 1997. And the balance, excuse me, computer's acting. This was a Discover account, has a $21,000 limit. It's been open since 97. The purchase deadline is next month on the 14th. That buyer would have to pay $1138 to buy that one. So you see how much age makes a big difference on how much money that a buyer would need to pay. Okay, so golden rule is really if you have a good mix of credit cards and installment loans, if you don't have any credit at all, I would advise someone to get two, at least two. Okay, because the third credit item can be a secured credit card. It could be their rental history that I can help them with, right? So I would say don't get any more than two if you have nothing on your credit. Sometimes people just need to boost their credit score and they just need one. So take note that this is a business, as you see, 1138. The seller of that account probably got at least 30% of that fee. That's not bad. That's not bad. So Ozzy, as you are looking at these and anyone else that may be looking at this, this is a wonderful way to give them a call, let them know I sent you. And if you use that bit.ly link, then that is my referral link, but that is a link that you can use to browse on here. And if you need to buy your trade lines, do so. But I would, if Ozzy, anyone else, my sellers, couple extra $100 and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any Airbnbs. You don't have to fix cars. You don't have to fix plumbing. None of that. You don't have to put a mask on. It's all digital. It's all with the credit cards and great usage that you've been having. So that's what I wanted to share with you all tonight. Let me answer some of the questions. Does the broker set the fee? I believe they do. Yeah, the broker sets the fee and the seller pretty much knows from the jump, if this is taken at this price, then this is how much you'll get. And just like the real estate market, they could have things that they could have accounts that are out there sitting and they need to adjust the price, just like the sellers, you know, just like real estate. So maybe that 1138 is really in demand and it may go up. Or it may go down depending on the activity of what's going on with all of the other accounts. If a purchase, or Keith, help me out, from a Chapter 7.
I corrected it. If a person was discharged from a Chapter 7 and they was trying to boost their score, would this be something to consider for an individual to do?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I would say, again, talk to me or have them talk to their mortgage lender to see if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I had a bankruptcy, right? And there was a time where I could just get some secured loans and that started helping my score get back. I didn't have to pay for it at that time. So this is something strategic that people do when they're really about to apply for some other business loans or personal loans.
Lorie, I have a question. So on my account, there's a major big account that it gets paid every month, but until it's paid off, it shows delinquent. So would this help or hinder, or should I just wait until that's like taken care of?
So are you talking about you want to be a buyer or a seller?
I would be a buyer to
So-
help my credit score go up.
Yes. So remember, that helps. The more positive accounts that you have will offset the derogatory accounts. The more positive accounts, yes, trade lines that you can acquire, the more that it will offset that negative. It will help. It will help. So I see Chase on here. I've got these larger limits on here. Not everything is big dollar amounts. So let me change the price here. All right, they start in the low twos. Y'all heard that before, right? My real estate agents, they start in the low twos. But again, these limits look like this. And as I shared with you, last year when I was applying for business credit cards, I got one of these with a $7,500 limit. And I think the date open was like 5 years ago. I got that because when I applied for Cap on Tap, that business credit card, when they looked at my credit history, this credit card was on there with the $7,500 limit, and they approved me for a credit card of $7,500. So it helped because when the bank is looking at your history, they can like, wow, she's been off. They see that you're an authorized user. They're not dumb. They can see you're an authorized user, but they still see the activity speaks for itself. You've had access to a $7,500 limit in the past, period. And that's what they approved me for. So this time around, I went for the bigger limits. I went for a $20,000 and I went for a $15,000 limit just so I can start helping increase the limits that I get from my new approvals. Ozzy. I want to make sure I'm getting the chat. I'm sorry. So it is best to send the family member her rather than me adding, girl, y'all typing, but you ain't proofreading. Help me out with that.
Sorry about that. Brain moving so fast. So instead of adding a family member as an authorized user, it's best just send them to buy a trade line themselves for 2 months and they should be good.
I didn't say that.
I'm asking.
I didn't say that. Look, we're family here. We're family here, right? Remember, I said that in the days, there are some family members that do that for their children and family members automatically. So that when they sprout out in the world, they've got an amazing credit score. And all because they were just doing the right thing. Okay. So your family member, how long do they need to stay on there?
This person like low 550.
How long do they need to stay on there?
How long? That's a great question. I don't know.
All right. So if you want to do that to help your family member out, do it for free. I'm showing you a way where you could put your card on here for business purposes. She's trying to have the next cookout, them not even talking to Ozzy anymore because like she tried to charge me $300. Just, well.
Wait a minute.
I don't want any relationships at the next cookout over this. Yes, I have a 550 credit score. Do it. Just do it for free for your family. Do it because it will come back to you. All right. What do y'all think?
I think if it's my kid or something like that, yes. But if it's my cousin down the line, I might want to rethink that thing.
Exactly.
Y'all got to pitch that your own way. Okay. Y'all got to.
Ozzy, what type of relationship you have with your family member?
Huh?
That would be.
Actually, this person is a sister, but I've been working with them with credit stuff for a while now, and so I've been
for free. Do it for free. All right. I'm showing you on this platform. You won't know who's buying your card. So keep this as business, as your passive income stream. How about that? But if you got a family or an uncle in need, that is the right thing to do if you do that complimentary for them. But don't let that mess up your business card. Like, let's just say you've got that same card enrolled in here. You said you had 13 of them, so I don't think you are shy of anything. So do it for free. Do it for free, and then just enroll your other cards with Tradeline Supply.
Maybe I missed it. So when you add them, how does that affect score, I guess?
You? for you,
Freeze,
Stella?
anything? Yes.
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay, so if you do it outside of trade line, I'm just doing it as a family, calling the bank, adding them, get the social. Does it affect it that way?
Say that one more time.
Like if I'm adding a family member as an authorized user, if I call the bank, will it affect my credit, I guess?
It won't. Mm-mm.
Okay,
The
so
only-
neither way will affect.
Yeah, the bank is just going to ask you, and you should do a three-way with them on the line. Just say, I'm helping my family member out. My cousin just got out of jail. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm helping my cousin out, and I want to add her as an authorized user. They're just going to ask for the social security number, basically from her. But it doesn't affect you as the seller at all. All she's doing is riding on your back with your amazing credit. She's taking all the years of your great credit history, and it's now being added onto her credit report. So it's helping her score, but not helping yours anything more. You're just doing it really for financial gain and as a business, as a seller. Yes, I'll keep it.
But
She said, help your sister out.
Ozzy, I have a question. Are you gonna give her the actual card? Like, do you trust her to make payments?
Oh,
and
no.
stuff?
Oh,
No.
Oh, okay.
That's a no. That's where I say no. They won't have access, even if you're doing it for your children. Your children don't even know. You're for a 17 or 18-year-old, you got your child's social security number. So you don't need them on the phone to ask permission. You're doing it because you're the parent. So no, the kid don't even know that there could be a card out there for them. But even with Tradeline Supply, there is no cards exchanged. No one knows each other's addresses. It's a total business arrangement because Tradeline Supply is taking care of all that.
So I have another question.
I'm here.
In connection with the class that you just recently gave, talking about the LLC and the business and all that, we can actually put these two classes together and do this trade line thing as a business and start getting business funding for this
Yes.
type of transaction.
Yes. Now it's coming together, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
I love them. I've used them twice already. And if a family member wanted to use my card, I would do it for free. But if I have another card, I would definitely enroll it with Tradeline Supply so that so they can help me make money. Like there's someone around the world right now that's about to pick your account. Look how many cards are on here. It's a lot. So who's to say yours is going to be picked every month? I don't know, but you've got a variety of different cards. These are all different people. And it could be like Ozzy has 13 of these. We won't know that. We don't care. But if this is going to be a side hustle for some of you, then do that.
Okay, it's me again.
Maybe.
If I have a number of cards, say if I put 2 cards out there,
Mhm.
will the broker only sell my card one time to a buyer, or can he sell my one card to more than one buyer?
That one card should have no more than 2 authorized users on it.
So I can make money from 2 users at the same time on the same card.
Yeah.
So if I have, say, 2 cards out there, I can get income from 4 different people.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
My business brain is thinking right now. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you do, and the reason why I say that, and Tradeline Supply wants to make sure that they're not putting you in jeopardy of getting shut down from your bank. That's all. You could do more, but they don't want you to abuse that ability to get your card taken away. You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm kind of like Ozzy. I have multiple cards.
Mhm.
And in my mind, I'm thinking if I use 2 cards this month and 2 cards next month, and that way the bank won't be trying to shut me down because they're different banks.
Right. And so if you know that I'm going to use my 4 cards, I've got all 4 cards for business purposes, I would say you just open up another one, or
Mhm.
you just need to make sure that you keep that utilization to 15% of the limit on the
Mhm.
one that you have.
Okay.
Just be mindful that, whichever card that you do pick, that one is for business. This one is for personal. So don't confuse the two when you're out shopping. But you all are some very responsible individuals on here. So if you're going to be using it as a seller, there's going to be rules that Tradeline Supply will give you. Give them a call tomorrow and just browse online tonight and take a look and see what they have to offer. If you are a buyer, take a look at that. bit.ly/Tradeline Supply, and then look on here. I'm looking under buy trade lines, and then you can also go under resources, and they've got lots of Q&A that you can go over and just kind of go over some questions. But age is what people pay for. Lenders want to see that you've had accounts open for a long time for them to trust to give you more money. All right. The limits aren't so much the case, but you really want to look for the age should be at least 5 years or more if you're going to be building your personal credit up. 2 years is okay, but why not go for the gusto? I would say for at least 5 years or more that account has been opened. That's the age that most banks are looking for anyway. Then when you get your credit as a buyer, then when you get your credit all together and you see my credit has pumped up because I added these trade lines on here. Great. Now I'm at a 725. Amazing. Now you can come over and apply for business funding. So for many of you that are business owners, this is the next step for you, so that now let your credit work. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, you're eligible to get funding for your business. So make sure in the link that I gave you, you have access to not only my ebooks, the masterclass, Get Your Business Funded is right here. Get Your Business Funded is right here. So if you want to start applying for loans, if that's the process, that's the flow you're going to go through, do that. If your client needs to get a copy of their credit report, they can come here and grab it for $1. And if they get that, have them get credit monitoring. Because how will I know that credit alert is now on my credit report? Only because I am in credit monitoring do I know, Barclays was added to my credit report today. So, people are just like $27.99. It's time to be a big boy and a big girl to make sure that you're always watching your credit. All right. If someone needs to work on their credit and you're in that space where you're a buyer, you're a Michelle, and you need to start pumping up your credit, please get the Do It Yourself book. Call me if you have any questions so we can go over it together. But I give you step-by-step tips on what needs to be done to boost your credit, including Tradeline Supply is included in here. Rental history, adding utilities. I give you the dispute letters already in here. So you've got everything in here for $49. That's going to help get your credit together. And again, schedule a 15-minute with me at the very bottom. I got enough, right? Schedule an appointment with me for 15 minutes so we can go over your questions about credit and what do you need a trade line. Some of you may not need it. We just need to clean up what you have and get the ebook for the credit repair. Okay. All stuff and no fluff. I'm going to speak with her this week and add my niece. Very good. I feel like I need to get more cards now, right? Everything is a business. Everything is a business. So I really wanted to share that with you because not a lot of people know about this in our communities. As I said, this was one thing that most of the privileged did for their children for free. And now they've got people paying for this. Now if I call one of my credit repair buddies and I said, and he's not on Tradeline Supply. If I said, I need to get a trade line for like 5 years with a $15,000 limit, He'll tell me 550. That money is going right in his pocket because it's his credit card. So if I'm in that space and I know I'm going to have to pay for it because Aunt Shirley didn't do it for me or my mama couldn't do it for me, I'm going to have to pay for that trade line. The word is on the street is I'm going to pay $400 to $500 for it anyway. So why not you be on that side to be a seller? Okay. I heard about it years ago while in the military and never thought to follow up about it. Yes. Now we've got a reputable place that you can go and actually get it done. Okay. Are there any other questions? Instagram, can I answer any questions? My webinar family, can I answer any more? You can unmute yourself.
I asked a question in the chat. How soon can I meet with you to get my 15 minutes?
Girl, all you got to do is, you saw the link?
I saw the link, but I got a meeting tomorrow morning, so I need to talk to you like ASAP, but I don't want to do it online. I need to take it offline.
Fine,
I'm sorry.
fine. You want to talk to me tonight?
Or early in the morning.
We'll
I don't
talk
know.
tonight.
Okay, good, great, great.
Well, here's my number. The link tree does have my calendar on it. Just scroll to the bottom if you need to do that. I'll be up for a little bit, so you can give me a call after this. All stuff, no fluff, right? We got right to the point tonight. Did we learn something new about buyers and sellers?
Oh,
We
yes.
did.
You can be a buyer and you can be a seller at the same time. You don't have to have a specific credit score in order to be a seller of this credit card option. You don't. As long as you've got a great history, no late payments on that particular card, Tradeline Supply will accept you. So you can have a 620, you could have a 700. It doesn't, the score doesn't matter as a seller. They just want to make sure that that history looks good and clean before they say yes to you. Two sites I wanted to also give my business owners, once again, for those that are business owners out there and you need to get free information, score.org is a free organization where you can get business tips. Score, SCORE.org. They have classes on financing, marketing, financials, accounting, all of these free resources for you business owners. So use them, okay? Instead of trying to look all over the place for answers, yes, I can help with some, but score.org, they have lots of professionals all across the nation that are willing to help with your questions. And if you are a business owner also, and you want to stay on top of your business credit score, go to nav.com. nav.com. You can get your business credit score and some more funding information on that side as well. We're good? Next Tuesday, I'm gonna just give you a highlight. Next Tuesday, if you have been in any of my resource classes and you were on any of those webinars in the past where I gave you resources for your business, funding, and different websites that you can go to, I'm doing that next Tuesday. So Tuesday, 7 p.m., we're gonna be right back here again, and it will be a classes on resources, all about resources. Banking, websites, just things that help speed your process up as an individual and a professional. So these would be helpful sites that you can go to. Most of them are free, some of them are not, but for majority of the time, I like to look at free sites first so that you can get what you need without extra money. Okay. My coaching program does start on the 1st of August. So some of you have already started getting payments in, which is amazing. So if you wanted that, I'm doing one-on-one coaching. Pray for me. So I have either 6 weeks of one-on-one coaching to get you at least $10,000 more in your pocket for $2,500. Or if you wanted to do the 6-month with Lorie, that's $5,000. So depending on 6 weeks, 6 months, that is up to you on which one you wanted to do, starting September 1st. September 1st. So I only had a limited amount and I wanted to keep it that way so that I'm not, so I'm making sure that I'm listening to everybody's. Yeah. The 6 weeks is $2,500. That's it. That's it. And you can split those into 2 payments. That is on the Unleash collection site. So under what I did was, because I wanted to make sure it was affordable for people. I went to my website, the Unleashed collection. In here, they give you 4 payment options. So that way, when you look at 2,500, you're not like, oh, all at once. You ain't got to do it all at once. So they allow you to split the payments into 4. Let me see if I put it under here. I had to be slick and put it on here because everybody don't want to pay everything at one time, right? You want to relax and be like, yo, how about a down payment? So I do 6 weeks here. And so here, split your purchase into installments. So you can do that. It does it into 4 installments. So if you wanted to do the 6 weeks, I'm getting into your business and we're getting into that business quickly. And we've got 6 weeks. So you're going to be meet with me at least once a week for 6 weeks. I want to make sure that you're getting a $10,000 check. A $10,000 check. Either you're doing the 6 week or 6 month, it doesn't matter. But that's my goal, is to show you how can I get $10,000 in the next 6 weeks. And so that's the reason why the accelerated course is there. What's up?
What's the link again for the, I guess, one-on-one workshop towards 10,000?
For 10,000. I don't have a 10,000.
Yeah, with the, I'm sorry, with the 6 week to
Trying to
enroll.
make it more money. I'm like, no, it's
I
not.
know that's right.
Oh, to get $10,000 extra. Okay.
Yes.
The Unleashed collection. Hold on. Let me put it in the chat so it'll be easier for you to navigate. Ari, I didn't want this to go right to you. Hold on. All right, did someone else ask a question? Good night. Yes, 2,500 for the 6 weeks. That's it. The goal is to get you 10,000. So you basically pays for itself over and over again 4 times. So I have a real estate broker that has 3 people on his team. And he had asked, can we not do the 6 month? Can we do the 6 weeks? And even with his team, I'm doing that with him, that 6 weeks. So it covers, it's not just it's per person. You know, I wanted to make sure his team, his administrative team, was also on those calls, because that's basically the one that's going to be facilitating the work. So, you know, you as the rainmaker, you as the one that's hearing all this, you're not the one that's going to be doing all the work. You need your team with you. So in his case, we're doing an accelerated 6 weeks with his team. And he's got a real estate company. He's got a title company. He's a dad, you know, he's a husband. So, you know, he don't have much time. So he's like, let's get it done in 6 weeks instead of 6 months. All right. So schedule the time with me, find out what we need. If it's credit, if it's real estate, if it's coaching for your business, I want to see you get this 10,000 definitely before Thanksgiving. Let me know what's needed. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I love you. And next Tuesday, again, we're going to be right here again, sharing some more information about resources. So that's going to be a super class as well. So I will see you guys later. You got my phone number? Who's calling me?
Ruby.
Ruby, you calling me, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Arkitha, did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Got it. I'm actually on the site now.
Got it. Perfect. All right, my queens and my kings, I'll see you all later. Have a good night.
Good night.